is episode 2 of the Off-Minded podcast slash video series because all I've been doing is videos. And part of that is because I don't know what the hell I'm doing even now with episode 2. You know, doing this is really, I've ran across a lot of different challenges. One of the challenges that I kind of face doing this is a lot of the equipment that I'm using, such as my camera, the lights and microphones and all that kind of stuff, is stuff that I use on a daily basis pretty much. So I'm constantly setting things up, tearing them down, taking my equipment to where it needs to go, setting it up, taking it down, bringing it back home, setting it up, taking it down, and it's definitely becoming a pain in the ass. And yeah, actually I've been kind of running into a lot of different challenges with this, and it's great, you know what I mean? Because I'm challenging myself, I'm doing new things and really getting out of my comfort zone. But for example, another challenge that I kind of face is, you know, what am I actually going to make content about? You know what I mean? I have a million different stories that I can tell, but how am I going to get into that? Or like, you know, are people actually going to find that interesting? You know, things of that nature. I think one of the biggest challenges that I've come across so far is actually releasing the content. And I think the reason for that is, you know, I just kind of feel goofy. You know what I mean? Like right now I'm only releasing it on Facebook. You know, I've got my YouTube channel set up and, you know, I kind of figured out how I'm going to put it on iTunes and Spotify and, you know, things of that nature. But I'm just going to keep doing it because this is something that I like doing and this is something that I've always wanted to do. And fuck it, man. You know, you got to start somewhere. And I think even to kind of go back to like feeling goofy, you know, and, you know, putting my own kind of content out there, I think a lot of it too kind of stems from, or I don't think, a lot of it stems from having imposter syndrome. And what imposter syndrome is what it's called. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm being an imposter. And, you know, I know there's a lot of things that I know about, you know what I mean? And to this day, I still suffer from imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? I'll still get offered jobs where I'm like, man, I don't think I can do that. Or, you know, I'm afraid to fail or whatever the case may be. And it's gotten a little bit easier. You know, I take them on head on. And I think realistically at the end of the day, you need to get out of your comfort zone, right? And, you know, even with this podcast, video series, whatever the hell you want to call it, you know, I'm not looking to go in a chronological order of my career and how I did things. But, you know, as I mentioned in episode 1, how I got my foot in the door of doing video production, I started shooting music videos. I did that music video with my cousin, and then I started networking and I started working with other people. I made a ton of connections from that, you know what I mean? But the one connection that really stands out to me, because I'm friends with this guy to this day, we're good friends, you know, I talk to him every now and again, and, you know, we're always brewing up ideas and stuff like that. But one person in particular is my boy Travis Reagan.
Some hot motherfucker.
Travis was and is a venue owner slash promoter slash business owner who just truly crushes the game here in Denver. You know what I mean? A lot of the big shows that you see going around. And early in our relationship, I was shooting a lot of his music videos. We were shooting promo videos. It was like when he was going on tour, we were shooting promo videos for artists that were coming to the venue. We were shooting a lot of different types of content. Something that sticks out to me with Travis is early on in my career where I wasn't shooting, you know, with the equipment that I have now. I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. I was still really early in the game of trying to like shoot very good content, very cinematic content, very visually pleasing content, you know? And for whatever reason, this dude, like maybe he didn't think it, I don't know, I'm not sure what he thought, but anytime there was a possibility to get me to film a job for an artist or another company or whatever the case may be, Travis was always just like throwing my name out there. You know what I mean? Like, and he would just talk all this crazy good shit about me. You know, somebody was looking for a video, he'd be like, oh yeah, my boy Gary, he's fucking hands down best. And I wasn't. But he would just throw me out there and people would ask me to, you know, shoot different types of content or whatever the fuck it was, you know, like a music video or some kind of promo video or whatever. He would just throw me out there and they would just be like, yeah, we're going to use you because we saw this video. And, you know, when I look back at it, you know, I think a lot of people feel this way, especially artists. When you look at your old work, you're just kind of like, that was terrible, you know, like to other people, like, wow, this was really good. But to me, when I look back on it, even when I was creating it, I was like, man, this ain't as good as who's ever's video. And again, it kind of goes back to that imposter syndrome, but he would put me in situations that I couldn't really turn down, you know, like it was too good of an opportunity to let fear kind of get in the way of not doing it, you know what I mean? And, you know, like I was saying earlier, to this day, I still fear a lot of different things. But I think early in my roots, working with Travis and, you know, him putting me in those other different situations and stuff has kind of brought me to where I'm at now. Yeah, so, you know, I'd get offered these opportunities and I would just say, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it, you know. And there was a gang of failed attempts, you know what I mean? Like, I think there were some times where I probably made myself look really dumb, you know. Maybe not, maybe I'm just self-conscious about it, I don't know, you know, but I just kind of rolled with it and I just kind of started doing it. But there was one time, and he called me, and I specifically remember this day very vividly. He called me and said, Travis O'Gwyn needs a video guy this weekend. There's a concert going on. It's back-to-back. You know, he needs recap footage, blah, 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 whatever else was going on. So for those of you that don't know who Travis O'Gwyn is, he is the co-founder / CEO of Strange Music.
This is Travis O'Gwyn.
This is Travis O'Gwyn, CEO of Strange Music.
What's really crazy about it is, I don't know if this is like a Denver thing, but, you know, I know when I was younger, like I grew up listening to Tech Nine. Like, you know, to this day, I listen to Tech Nine. I consistently listen to Strange Music artists in general, but Tech Nine is the one that really got me started into that kind of whole movement and all that kind of stuff. And I remember specifically when Travis asked me, you know, Troll, my boy Travis, and when he asked me if I was available, I didn't even look. I didn't even care what I had going on that weekend. And it was pretty close too. It was like the following weekend. He called me on like a Wednesday or something. Truth is, you know, I'm not Jewish, but if I was, and my cousin's bar mitzvah or whatever the fuck was going on, that shit's out the window. You know what I mean? I'm doing this. I'm committed to it, and this is what I'm rolling with. And I just kind of told him, I was like, hell yeah, I'm available for that shit. You know. Some emails were sent back and forth, and you know they're asking different questions or whatever. But we eventually got it locked in, and you know this is all going on like literally right after he told me. So we're sending these emails back and forth, blah blah blah, and I'm just like I'm super high from it. You know, I'm just like, oh man, like I was so excited about it. I think I was texting my friends right away, like, oh, you know, guess what I'm gonna be doing, blah, 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 you know, just kind of bragging on myself, you know what I mean? Because I felt accomplished, you know what I mean? I was like, fuck, like, and, you know, even props to my boy, you know what I'm saying? Like, because even then, he was just like, yeah, I got a perfect guy that'll do it. He's really good, and this, and that, and maybe I was good at that by that point. But I was, you know, like I said, I was really high from the moment. And after that high kind of settled down and, you know, I went back to where I was at and I was kind of chilling and the high kind of wore off, I got extremely, extremely anxious. You know, like I just had all these thoughts kind of flooding my head, like what am I going to do? Like, I need this part, I need this piece of equipment, I need to rent this. I only got a couple days to do it. And I just went in this spiral of like, fuck, like I'm not capable of doing this. And for the people that don't know with Strange Music, like even at that time now, and even especially at that time, their marketing, especially their video marketing, you know what I mean, was just top notch. All of their promo videos are like shot on Reds and, you know, high-end cinema cameras. They're dumping, you know, thousands upon tens of thousands of dollars into their video equipment. So a lot of their footage is just like top-notch, you know, no amateur bullshit going on. Everything, you need to be on your game and you need to be good at what you do. And I was like, I am not capable of that. You know what I mean? I was just so self-conscious about it. And like I said, I just kind of went in this mode of almost being like, hey man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't end up doing that, but the feeling was extremely overwhelming. So after all that, you know, I kind of pulled myself out of it and I was just like, yeah, I can make this happen, you know? So the day actually came. I was extremely nervous about it, but you know, I was texting the tour manager and I got like this, I guess, I don't know if this is special treatment, but to me it was, you know what I mean? Like he told me, yeah, pull in the alleyway, tell him who you are. They'll have a spot for you, you know, right behind the venue, right behind the legendary Fillmore. You know, I've been to so many concerts there, and like I was like, holy shit! Like I get to go backstage and all this and that. I get to park with the tour buses, and it was dope, man. Like I pulled up, I parked there, I unloaded. You know, I brought it in. I ended up meeting Travis O'Guin. You know, I shook his hand. I was telling him like, yeah, you know, thanks for bringing me on. I was trying to keep my composure, like I've done this shit a million times, you know what I mean? Like, and it was cool meeting him. Like, even meeting Travis O'Guin, he's a very successful person, you know what I mean? He's a smart guy, and he's a down to earth dude, just like the rest of us. You know, he cusses when he talks, and
music business, and I did a deal with J Core, a guy named Jay Ferris, you piece of shit.
You know, he don't really front for anybody, you know, but it was cool. You know, I got settled in. I had all my equipment in this room, and you know, I got the fresh ass all access pass, you know, that I got to put around, you know, my neck or whatever. And it's my first time having like an all access pass. Cause normally when I would shoot there, I'd get like the little bullshit, you know, pass, and everything's crossed out and it just says photo. So you can't go back there at certain times and all this other kind of stuff. But yeah. And then I just kind of got to work. I kind of had like an agenda. I had to film like the meet and greet. And then there were some other things that were going on. We had to film like a couple promo videos for, you know, other countries that he was going to be performing at.
Tell me when to go. Yo, Copenhagen, man.
And, you know, I did all these kind of different things, and I just kind of just started getting into the work mode and just really crushing it, you know. But what was really, like, cool to me is, you know, I've seen strange music artists perform many different times, you know what I mean? And this time was a little bit different in particular because I wasn't necessarily seeing them in their performance mode, right? So I'm seeing these people as regular people, just like any of us, you know. So they're cracking jokes, they're going off to the side for certain conversations, and you know, there's no fans, there's nothing. We're all just kind of hanging out, talking, and you know, you really get to see these people for who they really are. And for a long time, I've always heard like never meet your idols, but my experience working with them was, you know, it was almost just kind of like hanging out with your homies, and I don't know these guys, you know what I mean? But it was just like hanging out with regular people, you know, and they were all just really welcoming to me. They were telling me that they were grateful for me. They appreciated me coming on such short notice, and I wasn't treated as just like a guy with a camera, you know what I mean? Like they all showed love. They were all really respectful, and they would all just kind of come to me and talk to me about random things, and you know, about video and how you do certain things and all this other crazy shit. You know, it was cool, man. It was a fucking crazy experience. And I guess some wisdom for people that are trying to get into this field of shooting video or whatever, the photography, whatever the case may be. You know, although it's cool, you want to make sure you're remaining professional. You know what I mean? You don't want to be trying to get your boy in. And I definitely didn't do that, but I've seen people do that. And it's just a really, really good way to ruin a connection. So just some future wisdom for people that are trying to get in situations like that. Bring your A game, you know what I mean? Be on top of your craft. Make sure you're acting professional as well. You know, just because these guys are cool and they're welcoming to you and, you know, this and that, you still want to remain professional, you know. And one thing that kind of sucked is even with that professional mentality, I still didn't ask for like a photo with them. I didn't ask for any autographs or anything like that. Maybe that's acceptable, I don't know, but I wanted to maintain my composure and, you know, be the professional that was there. So hopefully I can get hired on future gigs, and which I eventually did, and that's another story that I can talk about. But yeah, just some future wisdom for whoever is trying to get into that field. And one thing that I'll say, you know, with that show, and you know, really realistically, every other job I did, I busted my fucking ass working on that. You know what I mean? I was in every corner. I was running back and forth. I was communicating with the stage manager, asking him, you know, where can I be? Where can I be? And I asked this type of stuff beforehand, so I knew and I wouldn't be getting told like, hey, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? One thing I also did is I got cool with the security guards, because in my time of shooting videos and concerts, you know, security guards suck and they always sweating you for something. But beforehand, made sure I got cool with the security guards. So every time I saw them, they'd give me the salute and I just go where I needed to go. And I got really familiar how they work, especially the first night. The first night, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I made sure to do all that kind of stuff beforehand. And the second day, I was already on top of it. I knew what I needed to do. I knew the hustle that they were looking for. And, you know, and realistically, that's kind of what helped me get gigs in the future, you know, especially with concerts and stuff like that, is having that ambition and, you know, that drive. And I guess kind of going back to my main point is just do shit. You know what I mean? Whether you're good at it or not, just do shit. You know, and that term, fake it till you make it, is, you know, something that I've been kind of coming across as it's really frowned upon by a lot of different people. And they even go as far to say that's like really shitty advice. And I would say that is shitty advice, especially if you don't have any kind of drive for it, or you don't have any kind of passion behind it, or you're just doing something that you seriously don't know. Like if somebody came to me and was like, hey, I got a job for $5,000 if you can fix my plumbing, I wouldn't go do that because I have zero clue. I'm not gonna fake it until I make it on a situation like that, you know. But if there's something that you are passionate about and you have some knowledge on it and it's something that you really care about, hell yeah, I'll fake it till you make it, man. Like something that I really learned from that experience specifically, you're only an imposter if your intentions aren't true. And if your intentions aren't true, that's a problem in itself, and you should probably really try to get that fixed. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. This is episode 2 of the Off-Minded podcast / video series. I hope you found my experience entertaining, or you learned something from it, or it was at least somewhat enjoyable to you. But yeah, on to the next one.